All right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today. Yeah, it's a great day. It's a great day. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right, so we're going to dive in, take a look at some fundamental data that came in early this morning, see what's happening there, things that came out last night. Didn't really impact the market much, but we'll take a look there. And then we'll dive into the charts and see what that data did to some of these pairs. So let's hop over to trading economics. And real quick, just drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay. And if you can see my screen. Thank you, Ms. Carolyn. All right, cool. So UK inflation rate above forecast. Right, we know the UK is coming with their rate statement tomorrow. Right, but in the meantime, British inflation rate held at 8.7% in May, unchanged from April's 13-month low, but above forecast of 8.4%. The rate remained also significantly higher for the Bank of England's target 2%, adding concerns about its stickiness and placing additional pressure on policymakers to maintain the bank's ongoing tightening campaign. Right? Adding to concerns, no, we talked about that. Rising prices for air travel, recreational cultural goods and services, secondhand cars were enough to offset the fueling cost that was down 13%, and slowing food inflation. The core inflation rate, which excludes volatile items such as energy and food and alcohol and tobacco, rose to 7.1%, the highest since March of 1992. So we've talked about a lot. The core inflation number is the number that the countries are looking at because it removes the volatile items. And that core number increased. So the UK is on path, as we know, to increase those rates, right? Bond yields. Government bond yields in Europe marched higher on Wednesday after a hotter than expected inflation print for the UK raised concerns about higher interest rates. The headline inflation rate in UK was unchanged compared to forecast, that it was slow and coming above expectations for the fourth month. The Bank of England is expected to raise rates by 25 basis points tomorrow, with traders seeing a 45% chance it could deliver a bigger 50 basis point increase. Meanwhile, ECB is set to continue raising its rates, with most market participants now seeing the terminal rate in the Eurozone at 4% by October, which implies two more 25 basis point increases. The first one coming next month. So UK pushing their, the EU also seeing pushing the interest rate higher as well. Okay, but inflation is still sticky. So there is a chance that the UK could go 50 basis points per some of the expectations. All right. So that's what came in overnight. Over to the calendar. We had meeting minutes come in last night from the Bank of Japan, and essentially members believe that monetary easing should be maintained. So they're not changing their stance. All right, that's what those meeting minutes came out to, which we'll see how that impacted the charts a bit. Here's the data coming out of the UK this morning, right? PPI came in a little bit below. Then later on today, we have core retail sales for Canada. Tons of speakers, central bank speakers coming to the microphone for the United States. Bank of Canada deliberations. And then tomorrow is what we have our eyes on, right? You got Swiss National Bank monetary policy and the UK. All right. So we'll see if this number stays the same. Swiss National Bank is seeing an increase in about 25 basis points. We'll see if they do that as well. All right. That's it from a fundamental perspective. Questions, thoughts? Oh, actually, no, that's not it. But Joy, what's up?
Sorry, wrong button.
Oh, okay, no problem. The other thing is Japan. Japan watching Forex moves closely amid yen's fall. All right, this is the Japan Times. Monitoring currency moves to ensure foreign exchange rates remain stable and reflect economic fundamentals, Finance Minister Suzuki said Tuesday, after the dollar topped the yen at 142, which is a 7-month high. Right? Yes, that's why Japan wants to keep their rates low, right? A primary export country. So they want to make sure that it's cheap, right, for people to do business with them. So keeping their rates low, but they're going to watch the currency market to ensure that things don't move too quickly. We heard this rhetoric last fall, September, October, right? The last time that the Bank of Japan did intervene in the currency market because things got out of hand, right? So it gave that pullback and then for price to continue to rise. So we're going to watch Benny said over the weekend, watch the yens, right? And here we go. We got to watch the yens because they could be in for some retracements to come in the near future, because the Bank of Japan could step in and intervene in the currency market if it's appropriate, right? So the country will maintain close communication with the United States and other nations and take appropriate steps regarding currency policy. Dollar yen levels are determined by markets based on fundamentals, but they should move stably, right? This is our basic stance. We are continuously monitoring the developments in the foreign exchange markets. Okay. So we got to watch closely for these retracements, all right, on the yen. So, yeah. So over to the dollar, right? The dollar's still pulling back into the zone. We came just shy of the 618 retracement, and we could be in for a double top scenario there. We'll see what happens, right? But we're still slowly retracing here. We got Fed Chair Powell coming to the microphone today. We'll see how his comments move the dollar. Okay. That's on the 1 hour. Let's bounce back to the 4. And this is how we look on the 4-hour time frame. Sitting at that 618 retracement level there. Okay. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
Doing well, man. You?
Doing pretty good.
Awesome. Anything fundamentally that caught your eye?
Oh, no, just the big thing this morning is that UK news and inflation.
Yeah.
Still sitting pretty sticky.
Still
so
sticky, man.
So it'll be interesting tomorrow with the rate decision, which they're expecting 25 basis points. We'll see if they come in at just that. 25 basis points, or if it's going to be higher. And then it's interesting to see what they're going to say afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. There's a sentiment. There's 45% chance they could go 50 basis points.
yeah. That's what I was thinking when I read it this morning.
Yeah,
Like they gotta do something about that.
got to do something. Bank of Japan also said they're going to watch the currency markets closely.
Oh, here we go again, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So they want to make sure that it's moving stably. So, like you said, coming out of the weekend, we got to watch the ends, and so that kind of that confirms that.
Yeah, for sure. That's the rhetoric that we hear all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Awesome.
cool deal, man. Anything else?
All right. No, that's it. That's it.
Cool deal. So,
all right.
This is where we sit on the dollar, right? Trying to push to the upside again. Again, we'll see how the day moves with the speakers coming to the microphone today. All right. So I want to pop over to the dollar yen. Benny looked at it last night. But this is that 142 level that Bank of Japan has their eyes on, right? It's on the 4-hour chart, first AB boundary. And you see, right, things have just we had this nice pullback here in May, but since then, it's just been almost straight up, very little retracement as it's pushing to the upside. So 142 is that 7-month high, right? And you got a resistance level at 142.504. Okay, so again, we'll see what happens today, but right, we'll see if we get a push to the upside into that 118 and 127 zone, and then maybe we see that retracement come. Okay, but that 142 level is being watched, and somewhere in that zone, right? So we had this small retracement, we pushed back up, and so either we'll continue making that way to the downside, or we'll get that bounce. All right, so we'll watch that closely as things move, and just keep in mind, if we do push back above that 142 level, right, greater chances for Bank of Japan to step in. Okay, so we'll watch and wait for confirmations, but that's on the 4-hour. On the UJ. Come back to the daily. Yep. So on the daily, we hit that D extension here. Boom. Right. So also in line for pullback potentially, right? Fresh AB boundary. So we'll watch that there from a daily and a 4-hour perspective. Coming down to the 1. Let's see here. See, it's just been straight up. So on the 1, we're in that 118, 127 zone on the 1 hour after a 50% retracement. All right. So maybe we get another push to the upside. We'll see. We'll watch it closely there. The weekly D extension got hit too. Okay. What I got happening here? Let's see. Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, that's coming off the low. No, hold on one second. I got all kinds of stuff happening here. There we go. So this is on the weekly. Run it off the low. Boom. There we go. The extension hit here in October. Pullback. So that new fib would have looked like this. That's what I have on the. You got something else on the weekly here, Joy?
Well, I forgot about the fibs not forming yet.
Got you. Okay.
So I didn't even I didn't even do a new field. So my bad. I just know when I was doing my analysis, I noticed that field was inactive.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. But nonetheless, right? It did get the last one did get completed. We got an 8-6 retracement off the weekly, right? And we're pressing higher. So we'll see if we get another pullback potentially here, right? And you got this nice bullish engulfing candle, right? Could see a pullback to take back some of that candle and then see this continue to rise to the upside, right? So that's on the weekly time frame. Appreciate you calling that out. So back to the daily, right? That's where we are. Down to the 4. That's what the 4 looks like there. Okay, so we'll continue to monitor to see what happens on this dollar yen. All right. Questions on the UJ? No. All right. So that'll kind of set the tone for everything else. All right. And we'll hop over, we'll take a look at some of the other yen crosses. Benny talked about last night, some pullbacks similar to this, right? Pulling back into the zone and seeing if we get some continuation there. So that's the dollar yen. Hop over real quick. Swiss yen. Still creating all-time highs. We got Swiss National Bank monetary policy coming in tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow also, right? Shallow retracement, push to that 118 level, trying to pull back, right? So let's see if we get some confirmation on the move to the downside, depending on what the S&B does tomorrow as well. Okay, so that's 80-20 on the daily. Coming down to the 4. Boom, fresh AB boundary. Let's we'll slide this over so it's out of our way. Okay, fill it out. Fresh AB boundary here on the 4, right? Maybe potential to push into that 118, 127 zone. We'll see, right? Bullish cloud still ahead. So we'll see what happens on the 4. See if we get some confirmation on the 4, right? With an 80-20 as well. And then potentially see price come back to a 153.935, which is 618 on the daily. I mean on the 4 hour, right? And a previous weekly resistance level. All right, so we'll see if we get that action at some point. Then coming down to the 1, that's where Benny said, watch for that pullback, right? Boom. You got your shallow retracement in 118 to 127 zone. Price pushed out of it. Got the pullback here, 786 retracement, right? So we could be in for this move to continue to the downside in the short term. So maybe on the 4, we don't get that 118, 127 zone, right? If price continues to turn over, trying to make a high here at that 786 retracement off of that smaller wave to the downside here, right? So we could be in for this move to start making its way to the downside after that retracement, right? Matching the extension off the sub-fib is there, okay? And then you got your 382, so take profit 1 there. And that weekly support in line with that 618 retracement. Okay, so that's what we're looking for there on the Swiss yen. Boom. Pushing out of that 118, 127 zone. Yeah, man, it's definitely not stopping, Joy. It's definitely not stopping. That's for sure. That's for sure. So we'll watch to see if we get that in line with Bank of Japan statement. So, questions on the Swiss yen? No. All right. Cadian was another been covered last night. Again, those retracements, right? So on the daily, deep move, 618 retracement, didn't quite get to the 786 level, trying to turn over here, right? If we close lower today, we'll have a swing high here, right? See if we get price to turn over and press down to the downside. Where'd all my stuff go? All right, hold on 1 second. Let's I don't want to clear those. We'll bring this down. There we go. All right. So there we go. Okay, we got a level of daily resistance here that we could also use and monitor as well. Okay. So got the daily level there just shy of where we currently sit. Right. So maybe we get a pullback to previous level of resistance here. Right. Pullback and then continuation. Right. Maybe something like that. So that's the daily. Beautiful move. I don't know if anybody held this through TP2, but beautiful 80-20 move to the upside. Now just looking for a short-term retracement and then a continuation. Okay. Over to the 4. This is what we look like on the 4. Okay. So similar deal. Had that push out of the B boundary, got a pullback, and now it's trying to turn over. See if we get this retracement here, getting us back to at least that TP1 level on the 4 hour. Okay, so look at that a little bit more closely here on the 1. Here's that 80-20, and here's that sub-fib pullback right here. Oops, not right there. Right there. Okay. And this one on this Cadian, you got that push into that 8-6 retracement level, still stayed inside that AB boundary. So we'll see if we get price to turn over and start making its way lower here. Okay. And then just ultimately coming back to retest this level. And then we'll see if that's a low price to then get long. Okay. But that's your setup there. All right. And Benny talked about last night. Placing that stop above the high potentially, right? And then just letting it go. Okay. There we go. Like that. Questions on this Cadian? No. All right. And then see if we get this move like that. Boom. Okay. That's the Cadian. All right. Yeah. Aussie. So this one came back down. We talked about this one yesterday. Talked about coming back to this level, and we got that. Right. We got it already. 95,714. Right. Boom. Trying to get a reaction there now. Coming back to the 4. 382 hit. We'll see if we get another push down to that level or if we push deeper, right? There's a potential for that as well, getting back down to that daily support level. Here's a look on the 1 out of that 80-20 zone, right? Beautiful move to the downside. On the 1, it got to a 50% retracement level, okay? Pull back a bit. Now let's see if we get some sort of maybe double bottom action here and then potentially go long, or push down to that daily support level and then get long, right? So I'm sitting and watching now. My TP was hit once it got to this 382. So now I'm watching this one to see if we can push. I would love to see price push down a little further, but if we get price to hold at this level, double bottom, then I'll look for confirmation of price turning over. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for there. See if we get movement back to the upside. Okay. But 189 pips to the low, 157, 154 to TP1. So beautiful move already. And, right. So now we'll just wait, be patient, and allow price to do what it's going to do. And then we'll take advantage when price is ready. Okay. That's the Aussie yen. Euro yen, same narrative as most of the others outside of that Aussie, right? Broke this key level, strong push to the upside, right? And we said we're watching this zone here. We got a daily D extension here. It's the matching, right? Extension level off the retracement. So at some point, we're looking for price to get into the zone. Strong push. So looking for a pullback to retest and then get long. There we go. Right? So this box is that daily D extension zone. And you got your 118, your 127 level right inside that zone, right? Which makes sense. So look for a pullback. We're already in the 118, 127 zone, but we could push higher is the point there, right? But look for a pullback here and then a push into that zone to get to that daily D extension. All right. And then maybe see if we get a retracement, a deeper retracement. And we may not, but we'll see if we do, seeing as we hit a daily D extension level. Okay. So we'll watch that closely there. And then coming down to your one. Okay. AB boundary. Here's the push down. We got the pullback. See if we start making this move back to the downside here. Okay. To then get long, right? Overall bias is long, just looking for some retracements and low prices to get this push to the upside. All right. And you got a 1 hour D extension also inside that box, inside that zone that we watched. What is this? Let's see what's happening. My bad. I had sub fibs on that. There we go. That's the situation there, right? That makes more sense. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Here's that sub fib like that. Deep retracement there. See if we get this push down to this 382 and that weekly support. Okay. And then we'll look for a next move up. Okay. So those retracements that Benny talked about, they got them, right? Now let's see if we can get short and come down to these lower levels. Okay. Questions on these yens? Nope. All right. Let's look at the pounds real quick to see how that data impacted them. Super interesting, some of these moves this morning. So this pound Aussie on the daily got a slight reaction and then it came right back. Right? Came right back. So as we come down to the 4, this is what that reaction was. Spike up, push down. So I'm looking to see if this retracement that we talked about yesterday, see if we get a little more of a push to the downside here and come back and retest some of these levels here before we get back to the upside. Okay. So looking throughout the day today, see if we get price to push down a little further, come back down and retest this cloud maybe. All right. We move sideways through it, see if we get this pullback and then that push to the upside. But we did trying to get a cloud break, right? Trying to hold it. So coming down to the 1, this is the larger move on the 1, right? We talked about the 786 retracement that pushed to the upside. We got the cloud break and we're moving. I ran sub fibs off of that C, that lowest point in between the AB boundary. And this is where we sit, right? On the sub fib, we had a shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Here's our pullback, right? So let's see if we get a little bit of a deeper pullback into the sweet spot here throughout our day today, heading into tomorrow. And then we'll see if the data pushes us to the upside, right? Getting us to our TP level right there. Excuse me. Obviously, all of that won't happen in one day, but right, see if we get the makings of that and the setup for that to get long. Right. So looking for a little bit more of a downward push. This move was interesting, right? Started to really go. But again, the power of this 118, 127 zone, right? Even with the data pushing into that zone, it took it all back. And now it's coming back down to the downside. Okay. So I'm going to watch here for potential opportunity to add to the trade for me. Boom. All right. Get a push to the 618 zone. Then we can add to our trade here. Like so. Okay. So this move was interesting. This move was interesting this morning. Excuse me. Questions on the pound Aussie? All right. Pound cat. We talked about this crown pattern. All right. Got a 382 on the daily, hovering sideways, trying to make up its mind on what it wants to do. Not quite there yet. Whoops. That's the weekly. Right. Price is pushing down in that zone. Okay. There's our capital fib there. Down in the zone, we got the sideways push. 66066. Just shy of that 86 retracement level, but pushing down, trying to create that right tip. Right. So we got to a 50% retracement. See if we get one more push to the downside here. Come down into the sweet spot. Okay. So again, watching this part closely, see if we can get an opportunity to get long on this. Okay. So the crown pattern is trying to set up for us. We just want to see price come a little bit lower. Okay. Coming down to the 1. There we go. There's our fib on the 1. All right. There's our crown fib drawn in there. Okay. If you wanted to use the smart fibs, you'd run those off the low like so. Boom. All right. Coming back into the zone. Okay. So another push to the downside. I'd love to see it. All right. Trying to get a bit of a retracement off that strong bearish move. Right. So maybe we get something like that. Then that continuation down into the zone. Okay. So throughout the day. We'll keep our eyes peeled there. Okay, but again, that move was crazy. Spike up, retested that daily level, boom, fall. All right, pushing deeper inside that AB boundary. Okay, so that's the pound CAD. Pound yen. Trying to get that retracement. Trying to get there. Slowly making its way. Okay, this one will be interesting to see with the rate statement and with the Bank of Japan. So we may not get to, excuse me, this 50% level on this 4-hour fib, right? We may not get there. That move to the downside has already been a decent one, right? Over 100 pips, almost 200 pips. That small move there. Excuse me. We may not get a deep retracement here. All right, so we'll watch to see if we get this to turn around and swing long. Coming down to the 1. There's your 80-20 scenario there. All right, trying to push out of the zone. We'll see how deep we can push. But pull back again that Ben was talking about with these yen crosses. We got it. And then we got price to push back down to the downside. Even with that data, came right back. All right, 8-6 retracement, pushing to the match and the extension. Okay, so on the go there. On the go there. All right, then over to pound dollar. There we go. Almost at that support level. All right, we talked about here. Just wicked at 382, but continued to rise into the upside. Broke this key level here, right, at 126,696, and we're looking for the retest. Okay, 80-20, pushing to the upside, right? We're looking for this retest here to see if this level can hold and potentially give us a push to the upside, right? And then there's our option if the level does not hold. But Chair Powell speaking today could give us some insight on the dollar, right? And then that could also help give a catalyst in one direction or the other to this pair as well. Okay, so coming down to your 1. There we go. There's your move there, right? Yes, shallow retracement, pushed into the 118 and 127 zone, but more bullish on the pound. We'll see what happens with the dollar to see see if the market actually takes Jerome Powell's words as his word, or we'll see if they ignore them like they did during a press conference, right? We'll see. If he comes out with a very hawkish tone, right now it's a 50-50 coin flip on if investors will listen to him or not, right? But this level is going to be key for us in this pair, and that'll help us determine which direction to go. All right, so we shall see, but we're making our way there. Okay, making our way there. Questions on the pound dollar? No? Okay. And take a look at this Euro Aussie real quick. Pressing to the upside, right? Broke that daily level. Now we're making our way back long. Okay. Take these out. All right. I'm trying to push back to the upside here. Got another daily level there at 162 to 277. That's where we're headed next. All right. Beautiful 80-20 scenario. Now we got to bounce off the daily support. We can take that out. Right. And we're pushing long. This is our next level of what's previous support that we're coming into now. Somewhere in this range, right? Somewhere in that range. Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave the higher point there, right? So now we're pressing here. So we'll see if we're able to continue to break these levels and continue pushing to the upside. We get to that matching D extension at 169,671. Okay, coming down to the 4. Okay, let's clean this up a bit. From our examples. Okay. All right, I believe we talked about this, right? This was the zone. Boom, got the push out, broke that level, retested the level. Now we're continuing to press long. Okay, double bottom scenario right at that 382 on the 4, right? Boom, pushing to the upside. As we get down to the 1, this is what that looked like. All right, it had a bunch of choppiness here. And we finally broke and pushed to the upside, broke that level, retest. Now we're continuing to the upside. All right, so we'll flip our fib like that. All right, we already retested that level, pushing long, so this D extension will likely get hit. And then we'll reset and look for another pullback and a continuation long. Okay. So that's the Euro Aussie on the move to the upside. Questions here? No. Okay. Benny, you got any other pairs you got your eyes on, bro? Ooh.
No, sir.
Look at this. So weekly time frame, this is the 80-20 to the upside, right? Or to the downside. Boom. We got the reversal. These are sub fibs. I just looking at this. I know we looks like we marked this out before price to push into the zone, but price did push into the zone, 618 retracement, and we're trying to get this morning star formation here. Decision, indecision, decision.
I like that.
Yeah. From a weekly time frame perspective, man. Yeah. Yeah. If we get that to close in a bullish fashion like this, right? That's confirmation of more upside coming. Right? So that's actually good confirmation for me. Definitely like that. Let me see. But you said no other pairs you got your eyes on, bro?
Nope, not right now. Not right now. I'm waiting on that UK data
Yeah.
tomorrow. That's my main thing with these pound crosses. So that's it. That's it. And we got the S&B too. So
Yeah.
just waiting. You know, it's starting out kind of light, and then it picks up at the end of the week. You know, on what is it, Friday? We got a ton of CPI data coming out for the Eurozone as well. So you always need a catalyst, right? So you get a ton of volatility, then things slow down, and then you need a catalyst to get things really rocking and rolling again. So that's what I'm waiting on, is for those reports, and then that should carry into next week, being that all of that stuff is at the end of the week. So
Heck yeah. I'm in agreement, bro. Team, you guys got any pairs you got your eyes on you want me to take a look at? NZD Swiss. That's what you meant by that, right, Joy? NZD Swiss? Okay. We'll come back to that subfib. That original move played out there. We'll come back to it. Let's go to the daily. Clean this up real quick, everybody, so we can see what's happening. All right, so daily time frame. This is our capital fib here, 8-6 retracement. We're trying to make our way to the downside, get to the matching D extension at 54,030. All right, we zoom in on this. We've kind of been trapped a bit, right? So this is a smaller wave we'll look at on the lower time frame, right? Been trapped a bit here. Had a nice pullback, and now we're trying to come back down to the downside. So moving down to the 4. Oops. There we go. All right. Down on the 4. That's what we're looking like. Just shy of that 382 off the B boundary push. Kind of got a double bottom scenario here, and we got another push to the upside. All right. Back to that 382 form of resistance there. Okay. And we bounced right out of that zone, pushing to the downside. So overall bias is to the downside based off of the daily, right? So short opportunities. The question is, do we get another push to the upside to get to that 382 on the 4, or do we continue breaking levels and continue to the downside? Okay, we'll have to watch that to see. But as we continue moving down, okay, just wanted to reset that. But we'll come to, actually, let's do this. We'll pull these out. We'll go to the 1, and we'll run our fibs off the high right here. And we'll track these down. Oops. Like so. All right. So this is the larger wave on the 1. All right. We got a 50%, just shy of a 50% retracement, double top, push down. Right. So we're looking at this move here in the short term. Right. That level held, double bottom. We had a smaller wave fib running down like that. Right. So I'm going to pull this out for a second so we can just see those clearly. These are smaller waves here, right? And we're looking at this 80-20 scenario. It's last week before. Pushing to the 118, 127 zone. We got our breakout. We got our pullback and retest, and we got our continuation. Beautiful push to a 50% retracement. All right. So now price is trying to turn over and make those lower highs and lower lows. 1 hour D extensions at this daily support level. Okay. So we got data coming tomorrow for the Swissy. We'll see what they have to say. But we could be in for this one to continue to the downside. All right. Could be in for this one to continue to the downside. I'll take this level out. And that's what we're looking at there. Okay. So that's my thought on this one, Joy, is we could be moving to the downside off of this nice retracement. These are the sub fibs here, smaller waves to the smaller wave. But You also had an 80-20 scenario here, shallow retracement, 118, 127 push. That pushed us into that 50% retracement level, and then we turned over. So we're coming back down. And just the question is, do we stop in this range here? Right? Or do we continue to push lower? And depending on what the S&B has to say, I think that'll help give us a determination on that, right? If this is just a pullback for a continuation long, or if this is going to continue down to the D extension on the one. So that's where we are right now. And those are my thoughts. What are you seeing? What are you looking for?
Well, my original trade on this, it went ahead and hit, but my runner is still good. I'm still holding that position from 54996. But the thing is, I have my TP to that higher pullback on the 4 hour. And I'm just in my psychological, this is points like, I should just let it go. You know, I got my profit, I'm good, but just trying to see whether or not whether to hold this or not. I'm still into profit.
You got your stop and profit on that runner?
I do. And the price, and the reason why I got a little bit optimistic for it is because price had came just to my stop and profit, but it was a high, it was that candle that rejected real good. The candle on 621, that's the old candle. It came right and it just rejected off to it. So I'm like, I was thinking that was going to push up a little bit more before it dropped back down. But I remember Benny said that NZD was weak, I want to say. So I got it in profit.
Okay. Yeah, you got it in profit, right? It's a runner, so you already took some profit off the table. Yeah, I would just say monitor, right? And that news tomorrow, like you said, could give us a push in one direction or the other.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at my 1 hour. It's a death cross. Never mind. I see it. Never mind.
Okay.
I got the 50 crossed over the yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Tomorrow could let us know. Okay. Cool.
But that's weird though. How if I got the 50 crossing the 20 and my stochastic is in the buy zone, okay, so it's just ranging. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Love talking it out. Talking it out. All right. So we'll watch it and see. Okay. And then we had euro dollar. Let's see what it's doing. So strong push to the upside. Now we're trying to get a bit of a retracement, right? We broke through that previous daily level, strong way. Now we're trying to pull back a bit, right? And we know the dollar is also pulling back, right? So we'll see what happens with the DXY coming here to the 4. This is what that looks like. All right, we already got a nice deep retracement matching the extension is at 111.312. We got the strong push, retest, continuation long. Now we got a bit of a flag pattern happening here. We'll see what Chairman Powell has to say, but we could get a pullback and a continuation. All right. Retest the area that we broke out from. Boom. So we'll see if we get some action like that today and tomorrow, right? So coming down to the 1, there's your fib there. Sitting at a 236 level. Push back down and retest this daily support, 50%, 618 zone, right? Which we could potentially do. Could see that pullback continue like that. And then maybe we get that bounce. All right. So excuse Excuse me. So let's look to see if we get a low price, an opportunity to get long. Unless, and again, right, it's all it is going to be on the tone of Chairman Powell, but also how the investors respond to his words, right? Because like Benny talked about yesterday, they didn't respond at all to the press conference after the rate statement. They shrugged it off, and we held, so we're continuing to buy, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the dollar. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So keep our eyes on the news today, and we'll see how that transpires. But that's the potential right there. If we start breaking those levels, then obviously we're going to head lower. But or if the dollar turns over, we could. If the dollar continues to press up the DXY, right, we could ultimately break these levels and continue heading lower. And conversely, if the dollar turns over, right, we'll see this push to the upside. So that we shall see. What you looking for on this one, Benit? Same thing. Okay. All right. Cool deal. Cool deal. All right, good people. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Look forward to seeing everybody tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session. Appreciate it. Great session, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Good people. Stick to it, right? Be diligent. Be patient. Wait on your rules, right? Allow the news to happen. Then we'll see what happens after that. All right. Till next time, keep finding that 1%, good people. We'll talk tonight. Peace.